Welcome to TAAN TV's Spotlight. I'm your host, Vance Bradford, and today we are featuring Latinos on TAAN TV. And my first guest, he's part of the Tres Leches comedy troupe, my man, 100 Grand, Cleto Rodriguez, y'all. Give it up.
What's up, V?
What's up, Cleto?
Man, I tell you what, that was the best. You read it right off the cue cards, just the way it is.
Hey, man, you see me struggling too, man. I needed that. I'll go back to the Dr. Seuss days. You know, man.
Well, thanks for having me.
Man, Cleto Rodriguez, man. You know, comedian, you know, husband.
Yeah, keep going.
Man of God, you know.
How much I owe you? That was nice. I like that intro.
And and one of these things I really saw you when you grow into, you're a news personality for what, News 4 and Fox 29 in San Antonio, Texas.
Yes.
Man, good job, man.
Thanks,
you know.
man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So, can I jump right in?
Let's go. Let's do it.
Okay, man. So, Cleto, so tell us, man. We go back what, about 20-some years?
Yeah, 22 years actually.
Okay, and then that
when
time
I first started doing stand-up.
Started doing stand-up. And at that time, tell me how did you got into comedy and
well,
you know.
I knew mariachi class was not going to work out, and I was trying really hard to, do stand-up. And I remember I came across one Vance Bradford, and he was back then the Barry Gordy of comedy.
Oh, my
He was just
God.
making comedians what they are. And back then he had Juan.
Yeah.
And Juan, and
that was it. Huh?
and then, but then you've grown too. You come a long way as well.
Yeah.
And congratulations on your success.
Well, thank you.
But we've come. I mean, it's like I remember back in the day. It was just been doing stand up for 22 years, and they had the Latino Laugh Festival, and my family was like, "Yeah, go. You should go out there," and because I would make people in my family laugh. I was the center of attention. Class clown, the whole nine, and I was always that guy.
Right.
Just, hey, look at me. And finally, I remember that when I was in a get together, my family said, "You need to go try out for the Latino Laugh Festival." And I was like, "Well, I don't know. I'm not ready for that kind of thing yet." And I remember I gave myself a year and to get ready for it, and I did the open mics. And man, the open mic, I took all my friends that first time, and man, everything I said was gold. I mean, I had everybody laughing. The next week, I took nobody. I had a couple, and it was at the River Center Comedy Club, so it was at the mall. So I had a couple from Rhode Island waiting to get their ticket stamped, and another couple from Green Bay waiting to see their movie. And not one of them knew what a Mexican wedding was, and I just bombed bad. But I stuck with it. I became a student of comedy and just started studying all kinds of different comedy. But I grew up with Pryor. I grew up with Eddie Murphy, and I was just dirty, filthy, and that's what I looked at that and said, I could do that. I want to do that. And I was throwing out the F-bombs and throwing everything out there, closing with taking my clothes off on stage. And I'll never forget, my mom came to see me one time like, cochino, and that's all I heard on the way home. And then I met my wife, who is a beautiful Christian woman, and after that, everything just changed because she wasn't having none of that dirty stuff. I can tell you that, and she was beautiful, so I followed her everywhere. I mean, because we'll follow women anywhere.
Come on, man.
We'll follow them to church, prison. It don't matter. We'll follow them wherever. And that's what I did. I followed her to church, and that's what happened. Everything just changed, and became a clean comic.
Well, okay, so you became a clean comic. Yeah. Now I seen that transition. I remember those days, like you say, when you was first starting and being dirty and everything, and then you changed to be clean.
Yeah, I had actually quit comedy for about 9 months and just trying to, get right with God, I guess, in a sense, because I didn't think He kind of wanted me at the clubs. At the same time, I'm thinking I was far from that. I had that all wrong. But I remember one time my wife kind of, spoke to me and said, "Hey, you need to go back and show what God's doing for you in your life now."
Wow.
And I said, okay. And I wind up coming back, but I didn't know how. But she goes, "You got to do it His way. You got to do it clean." And I go, "Well, I don't know about that. I'm in here taking off my clothes as a closer." So I remember I was there praying, and I was like, "Lord, you took away my closer." And He wound up giving me 3 more, just like that. And then that next thing you know it, I started writing clean. It became a challenge for me, but I remember studying, I went all the way back to like Bob Hope and, all these comedians that and I wanted to be more of not so much a comic but an entertainer. And but stand-up was my foundation that I grew on, and then I started, going every week to the open mics. I mean, I'd hit 3 open mics in one Saturday or 4, and it was like I'd do that every week and just constantly getting on the road. I remember when you took me to Del Rio, because my career was on fire back then, and I was like, Del Rio, I'm out of San Antonio. I thought
coming
this was
up
big time. And and then all 17 of those people really enjoyed me in Del Rio, because it was a football game that day. Who knew?
Who knew? That's one of a promoter's nightmare, like football Friday night. Yeah,
bless his heart. He'd be over there like, Cleto.
Let me holler at you.
Let me holler at you. You saw the crowd. But we had some good times on the road,
we did, man.
So,
but one thing I want to do say is when you switched over, and become a clean comic, I was really impressed with your commitment because you see a lot of comedians that wasn't getting those breaks, and and then so now I look back, because I was thinking that one time when I called you. And I got on you something about being, my word being, I was hard on you, Cleto, man.
Yeah.
I was, and you stuck with it, man. And that's what made me really impressed, that, you went down, and then to stay clean.
Yeah.
And up till today, but you've been blessed though, man. And there's, it can be done. You're showing it that there's a path for clean. You stick with it. And then you surrounding yourself with other clean comics, and it's really, really impressive.
Which one thing to be, a clean comic, but another thing to be a clean, funny comic. And that's the one thing that I strive for, is just to go ahead and constantly just, okay, if it's not, there's a standard and that I like to live by. And, it's kind of like if, I like to hit them, just boom, boom, boom. Because you go to a crowd, I mean, this, you go into a crowd, it's like, they're not feeling you. It's like, they'll let you know it.
Hey, man.
And I mean, like, oh, okay, all right. And I remember the first time I did my first clean comedy, I remember I thought they wanted to hear nothing but, Bible jokes. Oh, man, that was not far from the truth. They just wanted to hear clean. That was it.
Right.
And I remember I bombed so bad on a Christian night at the Addison Improv, and I was like, oh, God, I don't know what happened here. And sure enough, I just remember leaving, and they said, no, we just want clean. That's it. And I started talking about different things, started talking about my life, started talking about my kids, my stepsons, who I love now, and, just, stuff like that,
Yeah.
And just everything that was relatable. And then taking, I mean, you don't ever want to take, you take advice from your peers, but you don't take their act. That was the main rule. You don't just, you see something, you're like, okay, well, that's been done, kind of thing. Where's my perspective? Where do I come in at? And for me, I wanted to separate myself from everybody else, from every other Latino comic that was doing, dirty, whatever. And I wanted to just be able to stand toe to toe with them,
right, clean,
and just know that, all right, well, let's go, let's have fun. And then I got a chance to team up with my friends and the Tres Leches, and that was one of the things that I wanted to do, was tour with these guys, and because they're funny. They're funny on stage, but to me, they're funnier off stage.
Hey.
You know what I mean? Like if you get a chance, I wish we had a camera rolling most of the time with these guys.
Hey,
they're
you
just
might need to do that, man. Yeah.
Constantly just saying something funny, and Roman, I'm sure you'll interview later on, but he needs Jesus. I'm gonna be honest, he really does. So, but yeah, they're funny, and Danny too. And
one thing I was really impressed with you too, Cleto, and to me it shows how comedy is when I took you and asked you to perform at all black room when it was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
And the first time, man, you kind of tell us how did you process that? And I always wondered, man. Those are the kind of tests that that I knew that when you showed up, just to show up, that I knew you was in the game for real.
Yeah.
And then you got on stage and you knocked them dead, man. It's amazing how how black folks, they take to you, man, and how you relate to them without being, like some comedians play to the crowd.
Yeah.
Like, okay, they're in front of an all black crowd. They'll play shuffle and dance, and stuff like that. Instead of being who you are.
Right.
You know what I mean? And bring the funny out. They're laughing at Cleto, not Cleto trying to be someone else or trying to fit in, so.
I remember the first time that, I did an all-black audience was at the Martin Luther King at Fort Sam. Remember we did that, and then I had a little bit of a rough time because I was going clean all the way and stuck with it, and then somehow I just got them back with me. But I remember I got off stage, and I was like, okay, where do I go now? I wasn't pleased with the set itself until I got asked to do God Ain't No Joke, and it was a gospel event, and it was for an AME church in Virginia.
Okay.
And I was up there, and I'm the only Latino on the bill, and I went up there, and I just had probably one of the best sets I ever had. And to know a crowd is with you, just laughing at what you wrote, laughing at how your experiences are, and laughing with you. I don't care if they're laughing at me, as long as they're laughing. And they just really took in the work, and they took in that, like, man, that guy, afterwards you hear him, like, man, that guy is funny. And just hearing that from anywhere from, just all the gospel audience itself, or from, an all Hispanic crowd, it's just, one of my best compliments was when I did the Hispanic State Fair down here at Sunset Station. I got off stage, and my friends were in front of me, and they were all dirty, and I wound up going up there and just had a great set. And I remember I was going down to my merch table, and this guy goes, "Hey man, I've been waiting for your set back. Where are they?" I go, "Well, did you laugh?" "I almost peed in my pants." I'm like, well, then I did my job. And that was like the best compliment for me at that time, was that, that, and then there was I did an open mic. I was trying out new material, and this one lady, she had to be in her early 80s, and came up to me, grabbed me by the shirt afterwards, and I would shake people's hand, grabbed me by the shirt and pulled me down and said, "Thank you for being clean for me." And I said, "Well, you're welcome." And I knew then there was an audience for it, and I just geared that way, and just kind of, but I could do the same act I do at a church that I could do at a bar.
Okay.
And not think twice about it.
Wow, that's deep. So tell us about some of your special projects. I saw you on Facebook, Dry Bar.
Oh yeah,
situation, which I thought you did an excellent job, man. That was a great set.
I did a comedy special for Dry Bar Comedy. If you go to drybarcomedy.com, you can see Cleto is my real name. That's what I titled it. And it's been going out to, I taped it in Utah, and it was really cool, and I had a great time, and it's taken off. I mean, the first clip, it's the format itself is kind of like what you guys have, and it's the first clip went out, and it's hit a million hits now, so I'm kind of excited about that, because I've never had that before. I was like, wow, it's pretty cool. Right. And it's just something that I've been praying on to get to that next level, and it's like, just waiting on him, I mean, it's, I definitely got to give him the glory for it, because it's the one thing that I have been leaning on for all this time that's gotten me through so many, doors open and stuff like that. And here I am now, what I mean? So, it's good.
Okay. Tell me something, Cleto. Now, let me flip the script if I can with you, and just wanted to ask you, like, what are some of the, as far as being Latino, okay? So I say Mexican.
Sure.
Okay, because there's different.
Yeah.
Cuban,
Puerto
Rican,
Venezuelan, Irish. We got you.
Got it. So, what is that like? One of the biggest things about, I'll say, misconceptions of being a Mexican comedian that you might, I wouldn't say clear up, but just say, hey, this.
Don't assume that we all know Spanish. Don't assume we all know Spanish, and don't assume we all like landscaping. I don't like landscaping. My wife gets mad at me because I don't know how to landscape our house, and she gets. It doesn't make it any better that my dad's a landscaper. So she goes, "Your dad never taught you how to cut, trim, edge." I go, "It's not like we turned 9 and my dad gets a golden weed eater off the mantle and Knight's is king of edging." You know what I'm saying? It's like I now knight you Sir Edgelot. You know, I mean, it's not like that. So, right. But you know, she. Those are the. As far as comedy goes, you know, I think not everybody. You know, it's different. Like I noticed there was a difference when the Latino Laugh Festival came, because a lot of the California comics were talking about the same thing to me, which was like, you know, gangs, drugs, and sex and all that, as to where the Texas comics were talking more about child support, unemployment, family, and that kind of stuff. So it kind of stood around. So it's not everybody, you know, not a lot of Mexicans have an accent, a deep accent, you know, and some can enunciate, you know, and some got degrees. And I mean, it's kind of crazy. We, you know, I wasn't in a gang, you know, and but you know, I did have family in prison. I mean, let's keep it real, you know what I'm saying? Hey. So, but we talk about that, and it becomes therapy for us as we vent in so many different ways. And you know, they say pain is humor. Well, you know, the funnier the guy is, well, you're like, man, how deep is he? And you know, it's like that kind of thing. But for me, I think that's pretty much it, really. I mean, you got to separate yourself. And I think like the Tres Leches, what I really like about that group is the fact that I'm the thin one.
Well,
I'm like the Paul McCartney of this group here.
Oh, right.
They're actually, these guys, I mean, we all have a different style. And you know, Danny is like the first sit-down comic I ever met in my life. Yeah, he's a little lazy, that one there. He is too lazy to stand up.
Man, I'm going to have to get the Tres Leches on here, man.
We got to do a special, and we want to do a special, and we want to air it here on your channel, okay? I said it, yes. We would like to go ahead and air our special here on your channel first.
Okay.
You know, because, I mean, and then Roman, you know, he's got a more of a mellow kind of, hey, ladies, that kind of, like he's serenading you.
Okay.
In the stand-up.
I'm gonna have to get a chance to talk to this guy. You know?
Yeah. You have to, when you get him on, ask him about that. Because he's got his first album, I Am Not Ram Herrera, and he's like, he's funny like that. And then you got myself, which is a little bit hyperactive. I need Ritalin kind of stuff. So
okay. Real quick, man, this has been excellent, man, and fun. Cleto, man, I mean, time just is ticking, man.
I know. I mean, I didn't get a chance to put my other arm up like this. I was like, this the whole time. I was like, well, when I get to really relax, I was like, gonna switch legs.
So now, you know, normally questions you would come up, interviewer may say, well, Cleto, what kind of advice would you have for the young ones coming up?
Oh, that's easy. Stay in school. Stay in school. Get a degree. Do not think about comedy. Don't be a class clown. This is stuff I'm telling my kids now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because they look at me and they.
Now, even with the social media, man, comics is blowing up, man.
You know what's depressing to me is when I see a young comic that has a better social media presence than I do, and he's already on. He has his own TV show, and I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, whatever happened to giving tapes and having talent? You know what I'm saying?
Man, but more,
you know, now it's just about like, hey, let me put my face out there. I'm juggling wet cats. Look, and all of a sudden you got 2 million views. I'm over here. I work my heart out and just to work out one little punchline and joke, and 14 views. I don't know how it is. Like Facebook, we got that algorithm really messed me up. I got 5,000 friends and only 4 people saw it. 4 people saw it, 1 shared it, and 1 liked it. Are you kidding me?
That's tough, man. That's
you kidding me?
I know.
Why even bother? You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to vent on your show right now. But yeah.
But hey, man,
but advice to the young kids, actually, you know, be original. Be original. Follow your dream. Don't give up, no matter what. Whether you have a social media presence or you don't, just keep striving. And you know, if it all doesn't work out, then you know what? You tried. You know, and just leave it on the table. And if not, then well, there's always knitting class.
Well, Cleto, man, hey, I enjoyed this.
Hey, thanks,
man.
man.
You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you coming by, sitting down, and we're definitely gonna have to come back and do some more things. I think somehow we're gonna find us a spin-off on this.
Well, you know, whenever you have Latinos on TAAN TV, washing cars or whatever, let me know. I'm here.
You know, we're gonna have something, man. We're gonna sit around and talk, man, and
Congratulations to you, V. This is awesome, man. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it, man. It's all good.
And I mean it. We're going to have our special on here first.
Hey, you heard it?
You heard it.
Live right here. TAAN TV. There's another TAAN TV special. Spotlight featuring Latinos on TAAN. Featuring the Tres Leches. Look out for them, y'all. They're going to be in a town near you. And follow this guy here, especially if you want to follow him on this national TV, News 4, Fox 29, San Antonio affiliate.
CletoRodriguez.com will sum it all up.
Come on, CletoRodriguez.com. So once again, thank you for tuning in to Latinos on TAAN.